Crown it.
What's up, guys? This is Michael and on the offside, and I'm here with Derek, Colby, and Matt. And we're all together again for another week to talk about some football. So I hope you're excited as we are. We've got a lot to talk about. A lot of crazy stuff happened this weekend. So I'm sure you guys can test for that. We'll go ahead and kind of get in it here, and we'll start with Bama and LSU. Now, Matt knows a lot about this game. Got a lot of texts from Matt throughout this game. So, good, some ups and downs. Way closer than I think you want it to be. My take kind of on it, I didn't really get to watch it, but it is Bama and LSU. And I don't know why, but LSU is just one of those teams that just every year, no matter the talent difference or anything, they're just going to, for me, they're going to give Bama a hard time. So I wasn't 100% surprised that they did. I will say you texted me once during it and said that I guess Bama had pulled away a little bit, and I started to think, well, at this point, it's probably it, you know. So, and then I guess LSU was able to hang in there. So it sounds like the problem for me was Bama being able to really finish this game off, and it kind of kept it close until the end. But, Matt, I'll go ahead and let you get into that one. So I know you got plenty you'd like to say about it.
Yeah, it was definitely a closer game than I expected. I did not expect to be on the edge of my seat with 20 seconds left as LSU was 30 yards away from shocking the world again and beating Bama. But that's where we are. The positive was Bama's defense played very well. LSU had one touchdown scoring drive. The other one was set up by a special teams play, a fake punt that put them within scoring position. So defense played well, kept them in that game, essentially won that game for them. Bama's offense was really lethargic, really concerning. Back to them having no run game. It just feels like I keep having to fall back to that. You're putting all this weight on Bryce Young. He didn't have his best game ever. He didn't play bad. You know, he took care of the ball. But the offensive line couldn't offer him protection. He's rushed every throw. Can't pick up blitzes. No run game. And I really am not pleased with Bill O'Brien, our offensive coordinator. I would be calling for him to be fired at this point in the season if it weren't for Bryce Young and the fact that they do seem to have some sort of rapport. And I know O'Brien's good with QBs. But other than that, I mean, it's very uncharacteristic of Bama. You'll see these drives where they'll do, 3 pass plays in a row, and it's a 3 and out. They had one series where they did 2 deep balls in a row, both incomplete. I never thought I would see that under Coach Nick Saban. Never thought I would. So there's definitely something that needs to be done with the offense. The play calling has to be better. The run blocking and pass blocking has to be better. And games are won at the line of scrimmage. When Bama plays well on the offensive line, they can put up points. But when they don't, I mean, LSU's defense didn't need to be shutting them out like that. They were a depleted team, but they did. So it's a win, but it's much closer than it needed to be.
Yeah, definitely an ugly game. I think Alabama ended up with 6 rushing yards, which coming out with a dub with 6 rushing yards, that's pretty impressive. Not going to be able to continue that, though. Anderson played well. That was nice. I mean, the defense did look solid. Anderson's going to be a top 5 pick at some point. He'll be a stud in the NFL. It's funny, you're calling for O'Brien's head, and he'll probably end up being a head coach somewhere next season. Yeah, I could see him sitting at Florida State or something like that.
Yeah.
But at least Bama got the dub. This is always a tough matchup. One of the best games of the year, even when LSU's down. But, Alabama came out the dub, and they get a week to get things right. So, take it for what it is. But, I expect them to take care of business this week and kind of get back on track.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't watch the game. I was kind of glued to the UT game. But, I think you guys hit on pretty much everything. Alabama's a great team. They should be on the path to go to the college football playoff, but they've got to fix that run game. I mean, you can have games like this against LSU, but if you get to that playoff and you're playing Georgia or Ohio State or somebody like that, it's a different ball game, and not necessarily because they have overpowering offenses, but if your run game isn't working, they're allowed to put more guys into coverage, and that slows down the passing game. And I was kind of looking, and Colby hit on this. Alabama had 6 yards rushing. LSU defensively had 8 tackles for a loss. And for a team that could very well be competing for a national championship, that is something that you need to address. But it is kind of one of those rivalry games where you get their best shot. And I told you guys when we were texting, I said, this is pretty much LSU's national championship. If Ed O can get this win, he doesn't care what happens for the rest of the season. And, that's part of being the program of Alabama, is you are going to get everybody's best shot. And they got LSU's best shot this weekend, but they came out with the win. So,
yeah, it's really weird, honestly, man. Seeing Bama struggle with the run game. It's not a typical thing for them. But yeah, I think you guys pretty much wrapped it up there on that. That described it perfectly. So we're gonna move on here to the UT Kentucky game. You guys know, I'm happy right now. Man, it was. I was actually in Knoxville at the time, so that was pretty cool and all to see it. And I know it wasn't played in Knoxville, but I was watching it down there, and they actually started playing Rocky Top whenever the game was over, so it was pretty fun. It was a wild game. Tennessee's defense was just on the field for way too long, but part of that was because our offense was scoring so quickly. Kentucky just could not. I think Tennessee had the ball for less than 14 minutes. I think I read it was like 13 minutes and something, which is insane. And then put up 45 points, which I know they had a pick six. And it just came down to it. Kentucky absolutely could not stop their offense. And not that UT could really stop them either, but like I said, they were on the field most of the time as well. So it was definitely nice to see Tennessee back in the win column against Kentucky, which for me feels like where it should be when it comes to football. We've dominated over the years. Lately, it's been a lot closer. Kentucky's got some wins, but yeah, it was a great game. It was awesome to see. Hendon Hooker played great. I think he was 15 for 20, maybe in this game. So again, it was just great to see it. You love to see it. You love to see it, and it made my weekend. Really, it really did. So.
Yeah, I was obviously excited that Tennessee won, but to be honest with you, I would have felt better if we had won by more. I know you can always say that, but giving up 42 points to Kentucky was upsetting to me. Kentucky does not have a good offense. That's my thing. We have the offense that can go out there and score 40 points, but to give up 42 points to Kentucky, I think I was looking at their stuff earlier, and it's like Kentucky had scored 42 points one game against LSU earlier this year, but against Georgia they had 13. Against Mississippi State they had 17. Against Florida they only had 20. Against South Carolina they had 16. They don't have a good offense. And, not that I expected Tennessee to have some great defense, but giving up 42 points to me was kind of concerning. But going back to Hooker, he averaged 21 yards per completion, which is insane. Overall, a win's a win. You beat technically a top 25 team on the road. I think it's a really good sign for the program moving forward. So I'm happy at the end of the day.
Yep. Super weird game. What was it? Kentucky had 99 plays.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. Super weird game. Not what we were expecting, obviously. But one big takeaway is if Tennessee wants to get in a shootout with you, they can play with you. What Derek said, defense was a little bit concerning, don't get me wrong. And, going against Georgia, we'll see how that goes. But they can put up points. They're going to put up points. But good dub, really was. It's nice seeing that against Kentucky. I know you guys kind of predicted UT on this one, but I thought Kentucky would kind of ground and pound it, which they still kind of did. But good win. Good win. Well, we'll see if it rolls into something good next week.
Yeah, when you look at the stats for this game, you look at it and you're like, how did Tennessee win this game? The time of possession alone, 46:08 for Kentucky versus 13:52 for Tennessee. Turnovers, each team had 1. Rushing yards, pretty even. Kentucky on third down, 12 of 17. Tennessee was 3 of 8. How did Tennessee win this game? And props to them because it's a big win. It's a division win. The thing that's concerning, for Tennessee, and it's also a good thing, is that big playability. Because we saw it against Alabama. They hung in that game because of the big plays. But they were in a game versus Alabama that if they'd had a more balanced attack, they maybe could have taken it all the way down to the wire, maybe could have pulled an upset. So you look at an offensive attack that has to survive on the big plays, and it does kind of take a toll on your defense when they're on the field for 46 minutes, So as good as the big plays are for Tennessee, I do think they need to find a more balanced attack, especially in the run game. But I think Hendon Hooker, he's doing great on these 75-yard touchdowns. He's got to find that moderate game too. And I didn't watch the game, so this is coming from someone just looking at the stat line because Bama was playing same time. But props to them for winning that game. It's a high-scoring game. Tough one to win against a good team. Don't discredit Kentucky. They're a good team. You pulled off a division win. Good job. But you've definitely got some stuff to work on. Main thing being a balanced attack to your offense.
Yeah, and I agree with you guys. There are definitely concerns on the defensive side to let Kentucky do that. Sometimes getting yourself off the field on third down, we've struggled with that this year. Seeing it against Bama, we have to be able to get off the field on those situations. But yeah, finishing up on that about UT and Kentucky. Got bragging rights for a year. It's back on the UT side where it belongs. So moving on to the next game, we're talking about A&M over Auburn. I just wanted to point that out. No, it was a big game of the week. A&M looked pretty good from what I've seen stat-wise. I didn't actually get to watch the game. I doubt most of us did. But just a game I wanted to mention there, big matchup for the SEC. And A&M hanging in there on the West too. So, Matt, I'm sure you're watching that as far as that goes, but not out of the picture yet. But I just wanted to throw that game out there. Did you guys actually watch that game or anything, or get to catch any of it?
No, I didn't watch any of it. But Colby, you want to go or you may go?
Sure.
Okay, but and I think all three of us predicted A&M to win this game, and it goes back to what Matt said. It's like a known fact. Bo Nix does not play well on the road. We gave you credit where credit's due. I don't know what your face is for, but Bo Nix, 20 of 41 passing. A&M's offense didn't do anything too crazy, but their defense contained Tank Bigsby. He had 15 carries for 69 yards, where Isaiah Spiller had 21 carries for 112 yards. I think Calzada did enough just to win that game. But A&M is a tough place to go into and win a football game. Alabama realized that this year, and as much as I don't think they're that great, they are catching stride to where they're going to go to a pretty good bowl game this year.
I'm good. I got nothing.
What a standoff.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I wasn't going to be the one to break there. Okay. You know, man, another fantastic performance by Bo Nix. Did everything he could to set his team up to win. 20 of 41. You know, almost a 50% pass completion percentage. 3.7 yards per attempt. Look out. NFL QBs, you've been put on notice. Bo Nix is coming for your job. All right, 7 carries, minus 18 yards. My man, calm down. No, but in all seriousness, A&M is a decent team. All right, the unranked A&M that beat Alabama is now, you know, they just beat a 13 team. They were ranked 14. They're probably going to jump even more. They'll probably be a top 10 team if they keep winning. They're threatening to win the SEC West. All it takes is Bama losing to Auburn or Arkansas, which, you know, isn't necessarily unthinkable right now. It's definitely thinkable right now. As to that, you know, if Bama loses to Auburn, I really don't care about the West anymore. You know, if Bama can't go to the playoffs, that may be a spoiled Bama fan response, but I don't care about the rest of it.
So spoiled.
I mean, yeah, I'd love an SEC championship, but I mean, the biggest thing of the year for me is beating Auburn and then Tennessee. One of those has been done.
That is the most spoiled fan thing I would ever heard in my life. I would take winning the SEC.
No. Don't get me wrong. I'm not happy with Bama winning 2 games a year, but those are the big check marks for me. And what I'm saying is if Bama loses to Auburn, even if they beat Georgia in the SEC championship, they possibly, I don't think this would happen, but they jeopardize Georgia's chance of going to the playoffs very slightly. And then, you know, no SEC representation. So if they don't win the Iron Bowl, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, A&M looking good. And as much as I trash Bo Nix, deservedly so, he plays Alabama at Jordan-Hare Stadium. So I am scared out of my mind right now. I do not want to play Auburn. It has nothing to do with Bo Nix being a good or a bad quarterback. It's a home game versus Auburn, and yeah, it's Bo Nix. So
he also lost a fumble this week too. I just wanted to add that on to the other.
Thank you. I missed that. Yeah, just the stats keep piling up. No record is safe. Jameis, look out for that 30 pick in a season record, okay? But yeah, there's not much more that can be said about that. Auburn got absolutely shut down. Please, Bama, do the same.
Right. So you heard it here from Matt himself. Thinks he's about how great Bo Nix is. He truly believes in him and truly is scared of him. That's the thing. That's what I heard is he's definitely afraid of Bo Nix. But also wanted to highlight, other than that game, a couple upsets this week. Wake Forest upset by North Carolina. Baylor upset by TCU. Michigan State upset by Purdue, which I'm proud to say I mentioned. And Derek, you was talking about it too. So definitely called that one good. Purdue just is the team that keeps upsetting, and get into it more later, but I'm really hoping they keep doing that. But I just really wanted to point that out, guys. I don't know if you have anything you really want to say on that. I just wanted that to be included because there was a lot of craziness and upsets going on this week. But if not, we can move on to NFL. Or if you guys got anything you want to say on that one?
Yeah, one thing. Don't worry, Miami Dolphin fans. Bo Nix is on his way.
He is. Oh, so I was just thinking about this. When Bo Nix graduates, what am I supposed to do to come up with like quality content? Like 90% of my speaking time on this podcast is dedicated to trashing Bo Nix.
Bold of you to assume it's quality content.
I'll just get dropped off the podcast. Yeah.
If you're done, I'll make one quick statement. I do think it's crazy that TCU won this week. You know, Patterson he's been coaching at TCU for like 20 years and then out at head coach at TCU, and then they go beat Baylor. It's like, you know, you don't want to assume anything. It's interesting, you know, just say that they did win their first game without him against a ranked opponent. So because he was, and I may be mistaken on this, but I think he was the longest tenured coach in college football.
Pretty sure.
I mean, he practically built that program, so it's not like you would think that he would have lost the locker room or, the support of his guys or anything. So it's just weird for him to go out there and win a game without him, especially his first week being gone. So,
dude had been there so long, he inherited LaDainian Tomlinson.
yeah,
Been there.
that should tell you all you need to know.
It's old.
Yeah, that's old.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, crazy weekend there. And it just kind of carried over into the NFL, honestly, which we'll mention some upsets there as well. Going to go ahead and start with first game. Panthers lose to the Pats. There, man, I'll be honest, it was just the offense. I bet.
I'm going to keep that piece of paper all season. It's been coming in handy.
Unfortunately, as much as I hate to admit it, the Pats have been playing some decent football. I will say that. Matt Jones has been looking pretty good. I believe when he's not actually playing quarterback for the Pats, he does do some side training at a local jiu-jitsu place. So it's what I heard. Getting some leg locks in. So pretty rough play. I did see do say. I mean, I think it was more frustration and desperation to keep the guy from scoring. I mean, getting the fumble. I don't necessarily think he was trying to intentionally hurt somebody, but it didn't look good, of course. Panthers defense, though, I didn't really get to watch the game, but Pats were still able to put up some points, but the offense just gives them no help. They got to do something. Honestly. So that's really about all I got. His offense needs to do something. Derek, I'll let you take it unless you want to wait till last on this one.
No, I want to go ahead and get my pain over. I'm completely off the Sam Darnold train. Every bit of optimism, every bit of hope, every bit of being a fan and just trying to trust our ownership and our GMs and making the right decisions. I am completely done with Sam Darnold. I am admitting I was wrong. And I am so sad for Christian McCaffrey and DJ Moore that they are wasting these years. And I'm sorry for our defense that they are wasting the talent that we have. And it's just tough. I don't know. We don't have a better quarterback on the roster, so I don't know where we go from here. It just seems like this season, after starting 3-0, is going to go to a very, very dark place. Despite the fact that our defense played incredibly, incredibly well, they held Mac Jones to 139 yards passing. Stephon Gilmore got a pick in his revenge game. Brian Burns forced a fumble, and then Mac Jones decided to try to break his ankle. The Panthers have a lot of issues. We put 2 offensive linemen on the IR today. Darnold threw 3 picks, which one of them was kind of excusable. It was just an absolutely incredible play by Jamie Collins, but the other 2 were just terrible. And it's to the point where I'm ready to throw in the towel on the season. When he threw that 3rd pick, I quit watching. And that's where I'm at in the Carolina Panthers and how their season goes. I might watch our defensive highlights, but I don't think I want to sit down and watch our games for the rest of the season. So, because Darnold makes me that mad.
Yeah, not a pretty game. Patriots are kind of catching steam. Panthers desperately need I know they got him back. I don't know if he's 100%. I know he had 100 total yards. But if they can lean on him a little more next week, maybe they'll score more than 6 points. I don't know. But possibly. We'll see. They got some decisions to make. I know they picked up his 5th-year option, right? Yep. Okay. So
yeah, real quick, coming into the season, I thought that was an okay idea.
Yeah,
because I thought this quarterback draft class was not strong at all. So it made sense. I was like, okay, well, let's just roll the dice because they had to make a decision on it. It's not like they could wait until the end of this year. So, anyways, sorry, keep going.
Yeah. And this is my last thing on the game. It has nothing to do with the game. Don't worry, Panther fan. Bo Nix is on the way.
Alrighty. Well, I have a few things I need to say about this game. First of all, I am going to defend Mac Jones under a presumption of innocence. The man is innocent until proven guilty, and you can't prove he intended to twist that ankle. Yeah, I'm going to defend my Bama boy. He thought there was a fumble. I think he thought the guy had the ball, but he grabbed the ankle, and it looked to me like the Carolina dude turned himself. No, you had your time to talk, okay? In the words of Skip Bayless, it's my turn.
Burns was so far away from the ball.
How does Mac Jones supposed to know that? He doesn't know where the ball is. Regardless, I would try to hold the guy there to keep him from making a play downfield. So the big thing was a penalty should have been called, if not for a personal foul, at least for holding. So I'll give you that. I don't think he had ill intent. Mac Jones is a pretty stand-up guy, I think. Maybe wrong. Who knows? Anyway, moving on from Mac Jones and his innocence, because I just didn't want that situation to get twisted. Took a lot of twists and turns. But anyway, Panthers fans, what if I told you there is a QB out there who has thrown for 2,163 yards, which is about 200 more than Darnold. He has a 70% completion percentage, while Darnold's at like 59. And he's 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions into the season, compared to Darnold's 7 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. That's right. We're talking about Teddy B. Because I told you coming into the season, and I got to say I told you so. The thing, I think Colby did too. The thing we said was, what are you getting from Darnold that Bridgewater isn't giving you? You're looking for like a mediocre QB to win you the games you should win. You've got it with Teddy B, and he'll pull off surprises once in a while. Sam Darnold's a top 3 pick for a reason. Get out of here. Actually, stay at Carolina. Stay there for a nice long 15 years. Have a great little career there. Throw in your 7 touchdowns, 11 INTs. I love it. Teddy B, baby.
Teddy B.
Let me say something, because I feel like my team's been attacked here.
It's something like 5 times.
Yeah, well, because it keeps coming back to us. This is my team. I get to talk about us. I have always said that I like Teddy B. I like Teddy B. But his second half last year of the season was not good at all with Carolina, and I would not be shocked to see him drop off during the second half of this season.
Can't be worse than Darnold.
No, Darnold's been incredibly disappointing.
All right. Anyways, I think we all got it out about that game. We'll kind of get going. I think Colby just left. He's done. So, do you guys
like Sam Darnold at Carolina?
Colby just dropped the mic. Since Colby's out, and I'm not sure why, I'm going to take this moment to plug my phone up really quick, guys.
All right.
Real fast. Be right back.
There he is.
They were FaceTiming me. Somebody tried to FaceTime me. Some random number.
I would be shocked if Megan didn't try to call me in the next minute or two.
Sam Darnold sucks. Okay, so when Bo Nix leaves or when he graduates, I can just trash Sam Darnold instead the whole time.
Yeah, that's true. Will he be starting for somebody?
They'll probably have locked him into like a 15-year contract by then, paying him more than Mahomes.
He's making.
But our defense is good.
Our defense is good.
How's that working out for you, bud?
That just shows you how terrible your offense is.
4 and 5.
Sorry. This looks like a perfect opportunity.
Oh gosh, and now we're talking about the Saints. Oh boy.
At least I can get joy if the Steelers are halfway good and the Titans are good.
Hey, let me switch teams throughout the season.
I'm not switching teams.
I've always been a Bucks fan.
Am I still good, guys? Am I good now, guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Steelers are up 14-0.
All right. Right back into this. So, yeah, sorry about the technical difficulties on that one. Going into the next game, we're going to talk about the Saints losing to the Falcons. I didn't get to see the game, to be honest, but I did see kind of the breakdown of the score and everything. Matt's going to disappear for a little bit. I think he's taking a pass as well. So, it looked like the Saints, made a run to come back there in the fourth quarter. Like I said, I was just going by the score. I know that's a tough game for them typically, Saints and Falcons. It just seems to be, Falcons are just kind of unpredictable this year. I think they were 4-4, so I guess they're 5-4 now. They're kind of that middle ground NFL team. You don't really know what to expect from them. Matt Ryan can throw the football, so he's got the ability and everything. So it's not like you're facing like a weak quarterback when you play the Falcons. Again, I was just kind of looking at the score. It looked like the Saints made an attempt at a comeback there at the end. Very close game, lost by 2. I will say for the backup quarterback that you had, didn't look like he put up bad numbers. I didn't get to watch the game to see his flow, but especially judging by the score, maybe it started to catch a little bit toward late in the game. So that could be some positives moving forward for you with the uncertainty at quarterback. That's really about all I got on that from what I've seen there. So could be some positives to take away for that.
Okay, I'll go first. Yeah. This was just one of those games, At this point, as a Saints fan, you're kind of just shrugging games off now. Jameis is out. Michael Thomas is out. You're missing a lot. It's not fun. You're down to your 4th string quarterback who's still playing better than Sam Darnold. But this was still a game the Saints should have won, had a chance to win. Just couldn't wrap it up. So it is what it is. Bigger issues at bay. I keep hearing talks about them going for OBJ. Personally, I don't want them to get OBJ. My big argument there is you don't have a ton of salary cap space. Even if you get him for cheap, what's he going to do for you this year? You going to make a Super Bowl run with him? I don't think so. So, you got hopefully Michael Thomas back next year. Hopefully Jameis back next year. See what happens. It just it stinks for Saints fans that you were hoping this was the year you find out if Jameis is actually the option going forward at quarterback. But now it feels like that's been delayed again. He was kind of gelling. He was looking good versus the Bucks, and then he's out. So, like I said, kind of shrug off these games. Is what it is.
Yeah, I'm with Matt on this one. At least Simeon looked competent. I wasn't expecting him to actually perform that well. He didn't turn the ball over or anything, but they really couldn't get anything going on the ground that much. Good news is they did stop the rush against the Falcons. I think Mike White and Patterson didn't do anything on the ground, at least. Patterson lit it up, receiving wise, but tough loss. They're still 5-3. I probably still has a shot at the playoffs. Honestly. And I agree. I don't want OBJ on my team. And what's sad is the Saints need playmakers, but I still don't think that's the right move. He kind of seems to be a cancer to the team wherever he goes. So I'd stay away. I know he's, like a New Orleans native or whatever, but it doesn't interest me at all. Stick with what you got and hope for the best. But hopefully they can kind of get it together and reel off some wins and kind of make a playoff push.
Yeah, and this is I was looking at Jameis's numbers before he got hurt, and if I'm New Orleans, based off what the quarterback pool looks like it's going to be, I'm going to try to give him another year. I mean, his completion percentage wasn't great, 59%, but he was taking care of the ball, and that's something that he wasn't doing before. 14 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, which is actually better than I thought it was. So as for Jameis, I think you've got to give him another year. Honestly, I don't know if Michael Thomas will be there next year. That kind of seems to be a bigger question mark. If you maybe pick, I would say that there's probably a higher chance of Jameis being there than Michael Thomas. Not saying that they both won't be, but if you're making me pick which one will be there, and the Saints' run defense did a really good job. The Atlanta had 25 carries for 34 yards. Colby kind of talked about that. Can we talk about how impressive Cordero Patterson has been this year, though? I mean, he came out of nowhere. I mean, everybody's like, "Oh, Mike Davis is the running back." They've got Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, and then Cordero Patterson literally carried the team today or Sunday. Matt Ryan looked really good, and even without Calvin Ridley, he looked really good. So, I mean, if you're the Saints, I wouldn't want OBJ either. To be honest with you, I don't think he would even fall that far on the waiver order. Is he off waivers now?
Yeah, he cleared waivers.
Oh, that's never a good sign. But you look at how Cleveland played, and Cleveland played tremendously better without him. I think he's one of those guys that's not good in the locker room, and a lot of times it's better to just be done with that, clean slate. So if I'm New Orleans, I don't want him either. Whether you have Michael Thomas or not, if you want to address wideout in the offseason, do it that way. You're not – and Matt said this, I don't think this is like a team that's going to go on the Super Bowl with Trevor Siemian or Taysom Hill at quarterback. So there's no point in doing that for a 1-year rental of a guy who could be bad for your locker room long term. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I would not take Odell, just with the way things have been going with him lately and the way he's been with teams. So definitely hope the Saints don't make that move. And yeah, with Cordell Patterson, Derek, like you said, it's unreal. He'll play any position, whatever he needs to do. Return kicks, run the ball, receiving yards, had over 100 receiving yards. I mean, it's good to see. Glad to see him do well, especially this late in the career. I feel like he's been in the league for a good while and just kind of out of nowhere. You like to see it, though. Kind of moving on. I hate for you guys that both your teams lost, but me and Colby, are pleasant surprise, man. Titans over the Rams. Defense played. I don't know if you guys agree. I feel like the defense played with such a chip on their shoulder going into this game. The Titans' offense obviously didn't look great, which I wouldn't expect them to. They're playing the Rams with that defense. They added Von Miller, Derrick Henry not playing. You don't expect them to look great, but they did what they had to do, and the defense just put them in such great position. A little concerning on the offense going forward, but at the same time, I feel like it wasn't exactly – it was a tough defense to go against in that situation. I think the Titans as a whole, kind of everything, everybody's kind of counting them out for this with Derrick Henry, talking about how their season's over, how they're in trouble now. And I think the Titans just took it kind of personally and want to let everybody know, hey, we're a good team. At this point, I have to say, I mean, they're going to lose some games probably going forward that it's the NFL. It happens that you don't expect. And, it's like the thing is, though, the Titans are winning big games. The Bills, the Chiefs, the LA. I mean, at this point, 7-2, you got to start to think they're a legit team. And they also, I think, at this point, they're number one in the AFC, and with the weak division they're in, their playoff chances are like 99% right now from what I was seeing. So definitely happy to did not expect it to go that way, and it was good to see.
Yeah, that was definitely an unexpected game. I I didn't see that coming. I got to be honest with you guys. I didn't want to watch it. I really didn't. I had zero interest in watching that game. Didn't expect much, but I was just laying there. I was like, you know what? Let's see what's going on. And it was hard to stop watching, seeing that defense, put pressure after what happened last year when we had no pass rush whatsoever. Awesome to see. Simmons, good Lord. He was in there all night long. What, 3 sacks? I mean, that was huge. I mean, he just looked like a grown man. But the whole running game is a little odd. It's tough to say, first week without Henry and you go up against the Rams. So, it's hard to judge somebody off that. I will say I do think Foreman will actually end up with more carries than the other two, McNichols and AP. I think he looked good with the ball in his hands. He knows the system. But just going back to the game, great to see. I know offense didn't do a whole lot. They just kind of game managed for the most part. I know Tannehill made a mistake early on, but after that, when they had the lead, he just kind of game managed, and it was good to see. But that defense was the big story. That was great to see. I thought that was the best offense in the league. I still do. And seeing our defense step up the past month or so, it's awesome. I mean, I can't be any happier than I am right now. And the schedule finally looks weaker. I know that's when we'll trip up. We already lost to the Jets, but it does get easier now after that brutal stretch that we handled so well. But we'll see. Hopefully we can stay atop the AFC. I don't know, but it's I'm just going to enjoy the ride. Just enjoy the ride.
Yeah. So if you told me coming into this season that Tennessee would have wins against Buffalo, Kansas City, the Rams, be 2-0 against the Colts, I would say, what is going on? Has Derrick Henry rushed for 1,500 yards already? Like what is going on? Julio is just clicking. Like, I would just think all of those things. But the defense played so well. They had 5 sacks, 2 picks. And I think it's really encouraging. And not that I would ever pull for an injury. I would never do that. And it's not like it's a good thing for the Titans. But I do think Derrick Henry being out is making them try to find other ways to win games, which I think is going to help them when Henry gets back. Because it's like, okay, we've figured out that we have a good enough defense. Tannehill can do enough. We can win these type of games against this type of an opponent. And then you throw Derrick Henry back into that when the playoffs come around, they're going to be scary.
Yeah, you guys really hit most of the points there. Derrick especially hit it at the end. You hear all the time, Derrick Henry is the Titans team. He carries them, and he does. Don't get me wrong. But Tannehill hears that. A.J. Brown hears that. The Titans defense hears that. And this, you don't want to see him injured, but this is a great opportunity for them to show, no, we can win without Derrick Henry. We have a good enough coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator to find ways to win without Henry. And Michael, you said, I think they have like a 99% chance to make the playoffs. It's good for them that they do have such an easy road ahead of them. I think the most pressure on the Titans right now is honestly on the team doctors. When Henry returns, you need him to be 100%. Do not push him to return before he's ready. Get him ready for playoffs. I don't care about week 17. Don't care about week 16. First game of playoffs, let Henry be 100%. As a football fan, that's what you want to see. As a Titans fan, that's what you want to see. But great win, great defensive showing. Pick 6 on Stafford was a big play. Yet again, we say this week after week, great win for the Titans.